Welcome back, or to anyone that's new to the Cologne Talk X.
TJ Talk Sense podcast.
Yes, baby. This is the 11th episode with another special guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself, my man.
What's up, guys? A lot of you know me as BobTheSizzler. My real name is actually Cam. That's a fun fact, but I'm BobTheSizzler because that's who I need to be on TikTok. So I am a fragrance enthusiast and I guess you could say a gym bro in TikTok world.
And a quick one, where did the name Bob the Sizzler come from? Is it like a
Oh,
nickname or something?
yeah, that's my Xbox handle. Um, yeah, for like years, I used to play a lot of COD, and that was just my Xbox handle. And I made a TikTok years ago as Bob the Sizzler because I was posting COD content back when like Warzone was really popular during like COVID. So yeah, I posted. It never took off. I had like one video that actually got views, but yeah, so that's the origin of the name.
Okay, I like it. Bob the Sizzler with the Riz.
The Xbox name, love that.
That's
Yeah.
kind of cool. So how did you get into fragrances in the first place? We're going to speak about a lot in this episode for everyone
Yeah.
listening. We're going to get into the brand side of things, sponsorships, partnerships, but let's start with fragrances first and foremost.
Well, it's kind of crazy. So like my brand is really based on how I actually got into it. So for the majority of my life, I didn't really know much about fragrances. To me, there was just like colognes. I had a couple that were gifted to me. I didn't know anything, man. Like I knew like what Sauvage was, but I didn't really know. Like that's how of a much of a novice I was. And then I had some friends that were just like always talking about different colognes, and I just got kind of interested. And I'm like, I think I want to start just overall smelling better. And because I had no idea, man, I didn't know where to begin. I didn't know anything about anything. I literally just Googled like, what's the best summer fragrance? And this was back when Jeremy Fragrance was like still an actual fragrance reviewer. Like, you know what I mean? So, and his video came up and I was just like fascinated because he's talking about 5 different fragrances for different kind of situations and vibes. And I was like, oh my God, like I didn't know that there was this much to it at all. And then I ended up buying my first legit fragrance, which was Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Intense, because of Jeremy Fragrance. And then, like the algorithm is like crazy advanced. So all next thing you know, I'm on TikTok and I'm seeing like fragrance knowledge and a bunch of other people talking about all these fragrances. And I'm like getting so fascinated because there's just so much to it. And then I built up a collection of like, I don't know, 5 or 6, but then I found myself really interested, like the kind of person I am when I get into things. I get really like head first, I dive into it. But so who I was then, like just getting into it, and even for a while where I was still learning about everything, that's where I decided to kind of make Bob the Sizzler in my brand. Like very early on, I was very self-aware that like I am no crazy fragrance specialist. Like there's people with huge collections far better than mine. There's people that know far more than me, and that's okay because the videos I primarily make are for the people who I was when I got interested in it, that didn't know anything, didn't know where to begin. It almost felt overwhelming because there's people talking about like hundreds of different fragrances and everyone says this is the best. So like that's who I really try and target. And then also try and target the people that I was like 6 months into it, where they have a collection, but now they're curious and they want to learn more about like what kind of fragrances to wear in different kind of situations and settings. You know what I mean? So that I knew who my demographic was early. I knew that like I wasn't going to try and pretend to be somebody I wasn't by like being some crazy top tier fragrance collector. You know what I mean? So I feel like just by knowing that and kind of acknowledging that and structuring my videos around that, that's how I kind of, grew the TikTok.
Yeah,
So
you
when,
definitely, yeah, go on, Colin, talk.
so when did you start posting first on TikTok?
It was actually, I think December last year. I posted a rant like at the time before I ever made a post, I had been on TikTok or fragrance TikTok for a while, studying all these formats and templates that people would use. And I got really familiar with what people were doing. And then there was this sound that said like best winter fragrances, but it progressively keeps getting better. Like this was a trend a year ago. I made that with a few winter fragrances I had, and it got like 30,000 views. And that was the first time ever I had seen success on TikTok because, like I said, I was making like Call of Duty content, gym content prior. Never took off because I never understood those markets like I did with the fragrance community because I had been studying it for so long. So that's when I made the first video. And then after that, I was like, oh my God, like there's something to this. Let me see if I can make another one. And it really, like the first couple of weeks was me just experimenting, posting, like seeing if I could go viral. Like that was my intention. And then it wasn't until I actually gained traction and was gaining followers and you know, making content that was like working, I was like, oh, maybe I could actually be one of these fragrance reviewers that I've been watching.
Yeah. Yeah, and from your content, there's loads of people who have a crazy collection and their videos are like super edited. Like you just keep it simple and tell people exactly what they need to know about fragrances. And I think that's sick.
Yeah, thanks, bro. Yeah, that's what I try and do, man. Like I mean, I love to have a huge fragrance collection. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But, you know, having the size of mine just kind of, I think, plays into the majority of my demographic where it's a little bit more relatable. You know what I mean? Like not everybody can afford or has access to have a collection of like 100 plus, or, you know what I mean? So yeah, it definitely plays into that. And also, yeah, I just try and keep it really simple, man. Like I just try and keep it 100 and just, you know, be just very like descriptive in how I talk about fragrances. Cause there's, you know, there's a lot of people that kind of will just tell you the same thing you can read about online on like Fragrantica or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's like, you can Google the notes, but like, what does it make somebody feel? Like, how does it make them feel in a certain situation? Or, you know, like what kind of circumstances can you wear it in? Or like, what does it actually smell like aside from the notes? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's what I wanted to know. Cause I'm like, yeah, like lavender and, you know, cumin or like, you know, whatever. Like, I don't know really what that smells like when people tell like, you know, the notes. I'm like, I want to know what it actually smells like when you smell it, you know?
Like that. So is that why a big part of your collection is designer, because they're easier to get access of than it is the niche fragrances?
No, not at all, man. Because I mean, you could buy anything online. I think I've maybe bought like a handful of fragrances in real life, like from a store. I think that the primary focus on designer was like that was just my roots. Like I got into it, and the fragrances I like grew up with, or in my younger years, I had like Burberry Touch. I think like the first like what I thought was a designer fragrance I bought was like Versace the Dreamer and Jimmy Choo Man, and like I smelled those and I'm like, this isn't great. Like I was like, because those are the first fragrances I ever smelled.
Yeah.
And I was like, always, that's what kind of actually kept me out of being interested in fragrances was they were so unimpressive to me. They had that generic like mall perfume store alcohol smell that I'm like this is what all the hype's about. And then once I ordered, ironically, funny enough, like Sauvage and Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Intense, I'm like, oh, wow, like that's what an actual designer good fragrance is supposed to smell like. I was like, holy shit. Like I had no idea something was actually supposed to smell good and not just like alcohol. Right. So that's just what launched me, man. Like there was so many designer fragrances that I got into in the beginning and I just really liked them. And then I think that niche fragrances, like I have an interest in them, but there's so many other creators that make amazing niche content, way more knowledgeable than I could ever be and have every niche fragrance. So it's like kind of just letting them do their thing. Like you guys are great at that. You should do it. You know what I mean? Like I don't really want to go in a lane that's not mine. You know what I mean?
So what's your favorite fragrance?
That's tough, man. You know, it changes so much for me, bro. Like I just put on Acqua di Gio's Profumo today because I had a meeting. I put it on and I'm like, dude, I don't like this fragrance. But like 6 months ago, I loved it. You know what I mean? Like I'm constantly changing. And I think that's because my nose is kind of evolving and just my taste is changing as I've smelled more fragrances. But I don't know, man. I think my favorite fragrance would probably be honestly just like Stronger With You Intensely, I think. Probably just that, man. And not only because like I think it smells the greatest, but like you associate fragrances with memories and times of your life and experiences. And then when they're really good, you get those like attached with the fragrance. So that makes me more inclined to wear it because it just kind of brings you back to that. So I just wore it a lot last winter, a lot of good times. And I just feel like it's just kind of like a signature scent for me. Unfortunately, it's hot as fuck here in Florida, right? So like I didn't get to wear it all year. It just dropped down to like the 60s a little bit last week. I finally put it on. I'm like, I'm back, baby. And then now it's like 90 degrees out here and I'm sweating, getting eaten alive by mosquitoes. So I got that's the
Bro, I
downside of being in Florida, you know.
I can relate to you so much. We only have like 2 months of winter over here.
No, it's so annoying, bro, because I like winter fragrances more than summer fragrances.
Yeah.
To me, they're way more diverse. Like summer fragrances, you can get away with some if it's not super hot and humid. But I feel like if it's super hot and humid, you kind of are forced to go in the fresh direction. Because if you're sweating and it's humid and you get like a powdery or a drier kind of fragrance, it's gross. So I just feel so limited in the summer, man. Like I can only really wear freshies here. And then once the winter comes around, you can wear sweet, you can wear spicy, you can wear really powdery fragrances, or just in general things that you couldn't wear during the summer, you know?
And myself and Cologne Talk, before we started recording, didn't you sell most of or give away most of your fragrances a couple months ago?
Yeah, so that was all the fragrances that like I just never wear. Like a lot of those were my first fragrance I ever bought. I never wear them. I have a daughter, so there's actually a side of like colognes a lot of people don't talk about, and that's the health aspect. Like fragrances in general are not the greatest for your health. Like there's a lot of chemicals and carcinogens and all these things in them that aren't the greatest. So I honestly, from like a health standpoint, I'm like, my daughter's in here every day. Like I don't really want like a million fragrances being stored here. So I was like, let me give them away just because I don't really want them. And I feel like it could go to better use. So that's why I did the giveaway. But unfortunately now I'm getting sent like 10 fragrances a month from this deal I have. And I'm storing them all in my office because it's like, I don't want like 50 fragrances just sitting in my closet, you know?
Yeah. How old are you, by the way, bro?
28.
Okay, same as
Yeah.
me. Same
So
as me.
yeah, I'm a little bit older. You know, I feel like our demographics on TikTok are a bit younger,
Yeah.
you know, but I feel like I can kind of try and play the role and be relatable to younger people because that's who I was, you know, like 10 years ago.
Yeah. And listen, we need to know your secret because out of the whole of fragrance TikTok, you pull in some crazy numbers.
Dude, it's simple, bro. It's literally quality over quantity. Like it's kind of counterintuitive because people tell you that you need to post every day, you need to spam post to get followers and views. I don't know where that was started, but that's not true. Like that works if you want to gain a lot of followers, but it's the problem is you just end up making so much content and you're going to make content that's not your greatest and it's just not going to perform well. Like it's a mixture of a lot of things. So I've always just focused on quality over quantity. Like I want to make sure it's a really good video and I'm not just making a video to make a video. That's the biggest thing, right? So I mean, I'm sure if I dropped a video every day, I wouldn't be averaging, 200,000 views a video. I'm sure it'd go down. That's the biggest thing, man. But also it's just part of my brand. Like I'm making videos to a much wider demographic of people. I made a video on Parfums de Molly Layton, which is a niche. And thinking in my mind, I'm like, this is a very popular niche fragrance. This video should do well. But it didn't because like the hardcore collectors and the people that are in niche are so much smaller. Mm-hmm. So I think just like a huge part of why I have huge numbers is just I know my audience and the audience is almost the broadest it could be,
Yeah, and this for me, this is super interesting because we've had on Fragrance Knowledge, Brand Sense, Oda Ragnar, loads of these guys. We all post on a daily basis. We've all got like the crazy massive collections. You don't, but you're still smashing it. So it's good to see the other side of it for me anyway.
I also know maybe a bit more than people may know. Like, so I actually work in the commercial film industry. I own a video production company. So we make things like TV spots, commercials, a lot of brand work for different people. So I've grown up, you could say, in the industry, working with marketing firms, working with different advertising agencies. So I have a little bit of insights just as how it works down from like the importance of a hook and where to place a hook and how to structure, a video in terms of like there's 3 tiers to the story that you need to tell and what are pain points and what are things that are going to trigger people to stay longer. There's all these things in TikTok and I'm totally fine like giving out the juice. I don't care. I want everybody to win. But like there's a lot of things in TikTok that you have to know. Like obviously, I think a lot of people know that they reward watch time, right? So like shorter videos, they're not going to push. TikTok makes more money the longer you watch a video. So if you can captivate and keep the audience watching your entire video and give them a reason to watch it, Then on TikTok, they'll see it has a higher retention rate, and then they'll push your shit in the For You page. How TikTok works is like, if you get in their good graces with the For You page, you cannot change. You have to do exactly the same thing over and over again to like please them. And then you're in the For You page. And if you make one little mistake and divert from that, they'll kick you out, and then you got to get back in. You know what I mean? So there's just so much to it, man. And I think a lot of it's just trial and error, and also just understanding a little bit behind marketing and advertising, you know?
So do you have like a set schedule on when you post? Like, do you try to post once a week, once every 2 weeks, or just when an idea pops in your head, you just post it?
And I might be an anomaly in the TikTok world, honest to God, because like for 8 months now, you know, like I said, I've done a lot of numbers on a consistent basis, bro. And there is zero fucking schedule. There's no pattern. Like I posted at 8 o'clock at night, in the morning. Sometimes I'll go weeks without posting. I come back and the video gets views. Sometimes I post 2 videos in a day. Like I don't, so it's everything I'm doing is kind of against what people tell you need to do on TikTok. Yeah. I don't have an exact answer why that is, you know, but I think it just comes down to just content and finding what works and then not breaking from that. You know what I mean? But it's also a curse, bro, because the thing is, like, I don't want to only make fragrance content. I want to do other stuff. Every time I've tried to do something else and even try to get shifty with it, incorporate fragrance into that video, like a gym video, I get 0 views. Like if you look at my TikTok, all the videos with the lowest amount of views are anytime I try to do anything but fragrances. And that's because TikTok's like, nope, don't do that. We don't want that. That's not your audience. Shut up and go do what you're supposed to do. So it's a curse because it's like I could do a lot with the TikTok and I feel like I can't because I'm just going to get shut down.
Yeah, they try to set you to one niche and one niche only. And if you try to do something else, it doesn't do as good because it just goes against to what your brand is.
Yeah, totally, man. And I feel like it gets deeper than that on a level of like, even in fragrance stuff, like, you know, it almost seems like every time I've talked about niche fragrances, I don't get as much views. Now that could be TikTok being like, well, that's not your audience, or because it is, I'm posting to a lower demographic, a smaller demographic. I don't know, but it's tricky, man. Like TikTok's a blessing and it's a curse at the same time, you know?
Yeah, because I've seen you put out a few like gym kind of content. So what would you do to counteract that? Would you make like a different page specifically for the gym stuff, or just try and weave it in as and when?
I could, man, but I don't want to have to go and build another page, you know, like it's hard enough as it is to build a page, and TikTok happens to be the easiest platform that you can go viral on, but it doesn't mean it's still easy. Like I tried a lot of other different things on TikTok before I took off with fragrances, you know? So I don't know, man. You know, I don't know. I am at a weird spot right now where I don't really know what direction I'm going to go, you know?
You ever thought about maybe a different platform, like keeping TikTok as your fragrance page and then maybe doing gym videos on YouTube or Instagram, something like that?
Maybe, because the thing is, like, I don't want to be a gym influencer. Like, you know, I'm not the biggest guy there is, but I have an interesting come up story that I think a lot of people can relate to. Like I used to be a really skinny guy, and then I, you know, put on like 50 pounds of muscle, and I feel like what I thought would be a lot of people in my demographic could relate. A lot of people in high school that like maybe have trouble gaining weight and they want to get in shape. I felt like, oh, maybe that would work with my demographic, but it just didn't, you know? So like, that was kind of my intention of doing gym content, but I don't want to be some gym influencer. You know what I mean, bro? Like I got a kid, you know, I own a business. I'm working like, you know, crazy hours, and my focus is elsewhere in life. Fragrance TikTok is just a cool way for me to connect and try and help other people and do something like kind of fulfilling and exciting on the side, you know?
Yeah. I like that though. I like that. But one thing we do need to touch on that a lot of people kind of seem to avoid is the financial side of it in terms of brands and sponsorships and even TikTok shop and stuff. Because I don't see you hardly doing any of that stuff.
I got a hot take, bro. I have a hot take. I don't think that anybody should be. Sorry, got a dog hair in my mouth. I don't think that anybody should be doing free posts. I don't think you should be taking free products in exchange for a post. If you're doing 30,000 views, averaging around there, you need to get paid. You know, like there's too many people selling themselves short. And I learned that the hard way early on. There was a website that was like, give you 3 fragrances, send them to you for free, make a video on them. Here's a discount code. You won't make money from the discount code, but it's for us to track it. Bro, I made that video and it got 600,000 views. And I sat there thinking like, dude, I just, this company gave me $300 worth of cologne and I might've just made them $3,000 at the minimum. After that, I was like, not doing that anymore. Like there's just no reason. And I get it. Some people, they want free fragrances. They see it as a convenience. But the thing is like, that company's taking advantage of you. It costs them $100 to send you a free fragrance in exchange for however many thousands of dollars they're going to make in sales, right? So it's like, I wouldn't do anything unless you're getting paid a decent amount, or if they're going to send you a massive care package, like $1,000 worth of fragrances can then make up for like, if you're charging $1,000 a post, you know what I mean? So like, that's kind of my stance. So a lot of people want to send me free stuff. I won't review it mainly because it's like, I'm not going to review and talk about things I don't like and fake it. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people have offered me money. If I was kind of familiar with the fragrance and I didn't mess with it, I didn't even waste my time, So like, if I do paid posts, it's because I'm already familiar with the fragrance. I like it, or I can try it first and be like, okay, let's do it. Or they just can afford it. You know what I mean? Because it's like, dude, if you're sending something to hundreds of thousands of people, you can't do that for free. You can't let the enticement of a free cologne or free care package, do that, man. Like I come from this realm. Like I know how much money it costs on ad spend if you're running a Facebook ad or whatever to reach 100,000 people, bro. It's not cheap, So my message is to fragrance creators: don't sell yourself short. Know your worth, and make sure that you're not doing stuff that you're getting taken advantage of,
Yeah. And when we even speak about the fragrances being £100, yeah, that's how much the fragrance costs. But how much does the fragrance cost to make? It might be $10,
so
$20.
cheap. So cheap. Yeah, man. Like it's wild, So, and yeah, obviously if you do stuff for a fragrance website, they have a much smaller profit margin, but still, man, like, anyway, so yeah, I did that with that website. Oh, and there was another website. I'm not going to say who they are, but they were like, we want to partner. We'll give you a discount code and you can make commissions off the discount code, but we're not going to send you fragrances for free to feature in the video. You have to pay for them. I'm like, dude, what? And this is a really big website that everybody knows. This is back when I had like 40,000 followers, but I was still getting views. And I'm like, forget about it. Like, I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? Like, you're out of your mind. I think commission-based stuff is okay. But I think people should be giving you a flat rate for a video on top of commission, if you have the juice to leverage, brands like that.
Yeah, I feel like companies are always looking out for or going to hunt for people that would take a free fragrance for a free video instead of people who are asking to get paid for it and all that.
And that's because our entire content is based around essentially giving free reviews on Chanel, Dior, Parfums de Mali. Like all those people, they're never going to pay us because they're like, I got 1 million people making reviews for free because their content's based on that. So you have these other medium to small companies that are like, oh, we can do that too. They want to make content. No. It's not like that. You know what I mean? Like if my whole content wasn't based around doing this, I wouldn't make a video for free on Dior, but unfortunately I have to because that's how we get views,
Yeah.
And I feel like because social media is not new, but in terms of influencers and all of this stuff, there's no actual fee. So if you've got between 50 to 100,000 followers, how much do you ask for? It depends on loads of different factors. So I've had a company.
There's actually a good calculator. I'll send it to you. And essentially it's a calculator that uses your views, your followers, and your engagement. You have to calculate all that and do some division. And I found it to be the most accurate because it's like, yeah, you can have a lot of followers, get a lot of views, but if you're not getting engagement, brands don't care, right? Like, and you could have 30,000 followers, but if you're getting a ton of views and a ton of high, like over 15% engagement and things like that, then you got the juice. You can leverage them, So like, I'll send it to you. And I think I send it to Comedic Sense as well, because we were chopping it up in the DMs, but that helped me a lot. And also like, I've also worked in this realm. So I know what other influencers have charged my clients that we do videos for,
Because there was one company who hit me up and they asked me for like one video. So I gave them a set price, yeah. And obviously they shouldn't do this because they disclosed another influencer what they charge them. And
Yeah.
you got influencer who's got say nearly 5 times the amount of following that I've got, asking for like $50 for a video.
Yeah.
And
It's
I'm like,
crazy. And see, that's the problem, is that should never happen, ever. And those people are making it harder for people like you to get paid what you're worth. You know what I mean? Like, so how many followers do you have right now?
I've got 70K.
70K. And what would say your average viewer count is?
Probably say around 20K. Like,
dude, to me, you should not be getting paid under 1,000 per video. There's no way. Makes no sense. You know, so, and that's crazy, is a lot of other people, they're charging like, oh yeah, I'll do a video for like $150. Like, no, man, you can't charge $150 to get that product out to, and you, and use your credentials and your opinion to say it's good. Use your name to vouch for it and send it out to 50, 60, maybe 100,000 people. You can't do that for under $1,000, man. It just doesn't make sense. You know?
Yeah. It holds your reputation behind it as well.
Yeah, and if you also start just taking on way too much shit, and anything that comes out, your opinion becomes less valued, because it's like, he's just chasing a bag. He's just reviewing everything. Like, so that's what I hate. I hate when I see influencers that every fucking post is sponsored, this and that. Because I'm like, dude, do you even think for yourself? Like, I want to hear what you actually use that you're not getting paid to say that you use.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why I've always kind of kept my content few and far in between. Also in the sense of just like, I don't necessarily need the money. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'd rather just keep it a buck, be authentic, you know,
just for the fun
just
and
trying to chase a bag for no reason, you know.
So is that why? So I seen you put a post up before on TikTok Shop. You're absolutely against promoting anything from TikTok Shop and all that?
I think it's dumb in the sense of, because I hate when things are forced on us. I'm not a fan of TikTok Shop because TikTok is forcing it on us. I don't want to have to be forced to sell people shit in order to get views. You know what I mean? So like, I just disagree with that. TikTok Shop is also incomplete. There's a lot of better places that you can buy some of these products from. So I don't want to just promote a less optimum place to buy a product just for the sake, because TikTok wants me to do it. You know?
Yeah. Because when we was even speaking to Fragrance Knowledge, he was saying that we can all see, it's evident that when you use a TikTok Shop link, that video is going to get hundreds of thousands of views. So people see that and go, shit, if I make a few more of these,
So I took a break from TikTok for a couple months, and when I came back, they had implemented the whole shop algorithm. First couple of videos I posted weren't getting views. I wasn't tagging it, and I kept going, dude. And then I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The last 5 videos I've done haven't tagged TikTok Shop. One's gotten 200,000, 104,000, 400,000, 1.4 million, and 170,000. None of those have had a TikTok Shop. So I don't know if it is true, how much is true with this whole, they're gonna, you know, not pump you up if you're in the TikTok Shop. I don't know. There's so much shit constantly changing with TikTok, you know?
Yeah, I think it's not as effective as it was before. Because
I think what happened was, in the beginning, it was. And everyone's like, yo, I hate this. And TikTok, I think out of all the social media companies, is likely the better one. And I think that they saw that and probably let off on the gas a little bit. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, it's definitely not as tuned up as it was before. Because literally any video I would scroll up on my For You page, if it had the TikTok Shop and it was a shitty video, it would still have like 100,000 views.
Yeah, bro.
I'd be like, that shit doesn't make sense.
It's just corny, bro. I hate it. I hate turning apps and social media into just a consumer app, which obviously that's the day and age we're in, but it's making it obvious and forced is what I don't like.
Yeah. Like, I think I've posted, I think I checked the other day, over 600 videos, and 4 of them have included, only 4 have been included TikTok Shop links. And all 4 of those videos are over 500,000 views. But that's not because of TikTok Shop pushing it. It's whatever company I put the link in, they're using my video as an ad because they know it converts.
Dude, I keep seeing that, bro. Like, there's like these spam accounts that keep taking people's videos.
It's crazy.
It's kind of, you know, it's like you can get pressed about it, but at the same time, it's like, whatever.
And
you know what I mean? As long as you're not defaming me or making me look bad or say things that are gonna, deceive people or lie, I don't get whatever,
Yeah.
and
Let
TikTok
Jeremy
doesn't do
Fragrance
anything
get
about it.
reposted on 1,000 accounts. It is what it is. It comes with having a following,
Yeah, because me and Cologne Talk been speaking for ages, and when we first got into it, when a company like, say for example, Roja Par Farms, they was like, yeah, we want to send you this. We'll be messaging each other like, oh my god, they want to send us this fragrance, but
Yeah.
now we're like, okay, that's not exciting anymore. It's like
But
we still love the
it's so
fragrance.
valid because I was the same way in the beginning. You're like, holy shit, I built enough of a following to get free stuff, man. That's exciting. And I don't think anybody should downplay that at all. I don't want to shit on anybody that has achieved that at all because I was in the same spot. It just gets to a point where you got to then know your worth, get that out of the way, and grow out of that because you're worth more than just getting a couple free products,
Agreed.
Yeah.
So
you can make this into a living, and people don't really see that aspect of where their following is going and all that.
Totally, man. Yeah, and it's definitely, I mean, TikTok with the creator fund is definitely structured better now. If you're getting like 60 cents RPM, that's not bad, man. You can, you get 1 million views in a month. I think that's like $800-900 if you're getting 60-70 cent RPM. The one thing I don't like, and I think is a little shady, is how they determine what qualified views are. For me, only about 1/3 of my views are qualified.
Mine too.
Super toxic because I'm like, dude, 2/3 of those people aren't like just repeat views of the same person watching the video. Like that's just not true. So that's annoying. I feel like, I put up some numbers some month and I go look at what's qualified. And I'm like, that's insane. So, but there's so many ways to make money, man. You can have, Amazon storefront, brand deals, TikTok views, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, and because there's no playbook on this, so people getting into it, they just start out making videos for fun, and then shit, brands are hitting them up. They don't know what to do. So it's a weird one, but I think loads of people will learn a lot from this episode, man.
I hope so, man, because I think that if enough people also understand this, we can maybe shift the industry and how it works, and people will then understand that they can't take advantage of content creators just because they're throwing free stuff at them. I hope that does happen.
Yeah, because some of what companies offer me, I just got to give them a no straight away. It's daylight robbery. It's like, you actually taking a piss. I know how much I will sell of your product, and you want to pay what? That's ridiculous.
It doesn't make any sense. But, a lot of companies, they're just trying to get in front of as many eyes as cheap as possible. Yeah. And UGC content, user-generated content, is so popular in the marketing realm right now. Everyone's latching onto it. Everyone's trying to do it. It just is what it is.
Everyone's trying to become, social media popular.
Yeah. Which is funny, man. I never thought I'd end up being like a influencer. You know what I mean? Like, but here I am, making TikTok videos about fragrance.
Yeah, I've seen your videos. I was like, I love how this guy is like straight to it. He gets to, the smell, all this. He's quick, he's knowledgeable, and I was like, I like that about your videos.
Oh, I appreciate it, bro. Yeah, I tried, man. I try to just be myself, bro. I think that there's a lot of creators that are doing a great job being themselves. Like you guys too. Like you guys are yourselves. You're not trying to copy or be someone else. You guys have your signature things you say, how you do your videos. I think that's really important. It's a mixture of finding what works in the community in the realm of this niche content creating, and then applying your own flavor and image to it. And that's how you do it. Because if you're trying to go completely off the map and make videos in a format that no one else is doing or isn't working, it's just not going to work.
Yeah,
right.
You have your own personality.
Yeah, you got to take from what's working and then put your own into it,
That's very true.
So do you have any goals for content creation?
I don't know, man. Like I said, I'm in a weird place right now where I don't know what I'm going to do with TikTok. I'm trying to figure out what the long game is, how I can kind of broaden what I'm doing, expand my demographic and start talking about other things. That would be my goal, right? Is I don't want to just be limited to fragrance. I'd love to just be kind of in the realm of just relatable content for young men, whether it's fitness, fashion, lifestyle, smelling good, grooming. Like you know, I know I look like a homeless person right now. My barber's been out of town for like 3 months, bro. But you know, that's what I like to do, man. Like there's part of me that I really do like to help people and I like to connect with people and like have that. So that's what I like to do. You know, I don't know what I'm going to do, but it's something along those lines.
Yeah,
You're definitely you're one guy I want to see a day in a life video from.
I would love to do it, and I want to start doing that because yeah, you know, everyone's got lives outside of TikTok, and mine is like drastically different. Like I said, this is the first time I've ever told anybody my real name. Like online, I'm just Bob, guy that makes videos like in his closet in his bedroom, but you know, there's a whole life outside of it.
Yeah, it's that.
Which
That's
is what
why
I like
we.
to do. You know,
Yeah,
lifestyle content would be cool.
that's why we did this, so we can connect better and learn everybody's background and what they're doing behind the scenes and all that. We just want to
Yeah.
know more and show the people more of that.
And I love that because I think everybody has their own unique experiences and knowledge that they can share as well. Like everyone is successful in their own right, and there's something that they've done that has helped them be successful, you know, and it might be different than what the other guy did.
Yeah. Sure. Like I don't want to say anything to piss anyone off, but for me, this is my favorite episode. I can't lie.
Right on, let's go.
A lot of people are gonna learn from this.
Yeah.
I was excited, man, because I feel like I don't feel like I'm left out of the community, but I do a little bit, and it's not anyone's fault. Like for a long time, I kind of just didn't interact with it. I was like in my own lane, making videos. I didn't follow many people. I wasn't commenting. I wasn't interacting, and I was just staying to myself. And I would see this cool community you guys have, and I'm like, fuck, like where am I at? And I'm like, well, it's me. I'm not making an effort to be in there. So like, I don't know, several months ago, I started to get more involved and talk to people and make friends and get out of my own lane. So I was excited to be on because I want to continue to
connect,
not just be like the black sheep, just doing his own thing, doesn't talk to anybody. You know what I mean? Like I didn't mean to do that intentionally, but it definitely was that way for a while. You know?
Yeah. Connections are always dope. Like TJ is all the way in the UK and I'm in the US, and we have like a great bond, and the connection we've made is really nice. So it's always nice connecting with people that you never thought you'd connect with in the first place.
It's dope, bro. And that's the beauty of like gaming and so many other things, is it brings people from all different like walks of life, places they live, people you never like meet in real life, and that's your boy, you know?
Yeah.
That's cool.
No, this episode was sick. I'm glad that we got you on the podcast. For me, so much things in this episode challenged me. It wasn't just about fragrances. We spoke about so much stuff. So I learned a lot. I enjoyed it. I know the listeners are going to enjoy it. So we got to thank you for coming on the podcast, and we definitely have to do this again.
Absolutely.
We appreciate you for coming on, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I had a blast.
Everybody's watching. Go check him out. His content is always nice whenever he uploads.
Yo, I'm trying to upload more, bro. I swear, man. It's tough, bro. I'm a dad, and like, dude, like that's also another reason like I don't go live a lot, as I wish I did go live, because that's how like some of you guys are building awesome core audiences and communities when you go live.
Yeah.
I wish I could do that. I just barely ever have time. You know,
very time consuming.
But that's one thing you guys are doing great, and I really admire, is that a lot of people have great communities when you go live, because then they get to see who you are as a person, not just in your video being the fragrance guy, you know? So
we love that.
100%.
Well, thank you for coming on, bro. We appreciate you. It was a pleasure. Very knowledgeable stuff, and it was great hearing, you know, your side of TikTok and what you do and all that. Thank you for coming on.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks for having me, boys. I'll catch you later, all right?
Peace out.
Peace.